I'm Chad Douglas with our Connect to Congress initiative. We have Illinois Congressman Darin LaHood with us today. Congressman, I'd like to hear your take on the recent Mueller report findings, and do you think the American people should see the entire reports?
Well, first of all, I was one that supported Bob Mueller's investigation and making sure that we got a full accounting of what occurred on the issue of Russian collusion. And I think his conclusion is a vindication of the president and an exoneration of any wrongdoing by the president or his campaign team. And remember, Bob Mueller had a heck of a team he put together, 19 federal prosecutors. They spent about $50 million. They issued 2,800 subpoenas, 500 search warrants. So they did a thorough investigation, and their conclusion was there was no collusion or any criminal activity or criminal intent on behalf of the president. So I think now is the time we got to move on. And I've said that to my Democrat colleagues. The country wants us to move on, and we need to do that.
The House failed to override President Donald Trump's veto to declare a national emergency to build a wall on the Mexican border this week. Democrats say they may try again in 6 months. What do you have to say about all of this?
Again, the legislative process worked the way it should, and I support the president on this. We have a humanitarian crisis at the border. We continue to see people flood across our southern border. We are a country of laws. We need to enforce the border security issue, and I support the president on that. We're not talking about a lot of money that will help secure, through fencing, through a barrier, through a wall where we need to do that. And so we're going to continue to work with the president and his team to make sure we're doing all we can to secure our southern border.
Trade talks with China resumed this week. You also just returned from a trip to China. What was your take on the trip, and what do you think the future is for trade talks with that country?
Well, trade with China is vitally important. 25% of our agriculture products from Illinois go to China. A lot of our manufacturing goes to China. I'm not a big fan of tariffs. Tariffs are taxes. But I think the president has done a good job in bringing the Chinese to the table in using these taxes. And now we have to get a deal with them. And so I advocated on behalf of my farmers. We produce the best products, whether it's corn, soybeans, ethanol, beef, poultry. But we have to have customers, and we have to have a marketplace to do that. And China is a big one. So advocating for our products and telling the Chinese that we need to get them to change the way they've done business, particularly on technology. They've continued to steal our intellectual property. They've engaged in cyber theft. And so my message to them was, if they want to be a partner in the world and one of our trading partners, they need to change the way they do business. And that's really the crux of these negotiations. And so I was proud and honored to do that on behalf of my district. And Secretary Mnuchin and our trade ambassador Bob Lighthizer are going there today and tomorrow, and I had a briefing with them and relayed to them my interactions with the Chinese on this, and I'm cautiously optimistic that we can get a resolution.
Congressman LaHood, we appreciate your time.